Biladi, 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 the national anthem of Egypt. We'll turn to Angola for Angola Avante.
Tomados pela nossa independência, honramos o passado, a nossa história, construímos no trabalho homem não. Honramos o passado, a nossa história, construímos no trabalho homem não. Angola vai ter evolução pelo poder popular, pátria unida, liberdade, o seu povo uma só nação. Levantemos nossas vozes de liberdade para a glória dos povos africanos. Marchemos completamente acordar, solidários dos povos oprimidos, orgulhosos lutaremos pela paz, com as forças progressistas do mundo. Orgulhosos lutaremos pela paz, com as forças progressistas do mundo. Angola vai ter revolução pelo poder popular, pátria unida, liberdade, o seu povo uma só nação.
And that was the national anthem of Angola. Show of respect between the two sides as they shake their hands. For the coin toss, where we'll to see which sides start on what half of the pitch. And also which side will start with possession. Starting with the starting lineups, Omar Abdelaziz claims his starting position. The Zamalek goalkeeper will be shielded by a back four. Very experienced players that are all 17 about, except for Mohamed Bandari. A 4-3-3 formation put in place by the manager of Egypt, led by the striking prowess of Hamza Abdelkarim. Abdelaziz Agzogbi gets his start on the left wing, and captaining will be Mohamed Hamad. The 17-year-old player for Zamalek will be tasked with lighting up the offense for the Pharaohs. Important to note that number 10 and captain against Burkina Faso on match day 2, Bilal Atia, does not get the start and will be on the bench. We see the captain,
Captain.
Luau, the defensive midfielder, who also has gotten his goal this tournament. The goal had been, obviously their statistics don't reflect the reality exactly because of their 7 goals scored in this competition. 6 of them came in that very dominant victory over Central African Republic. We have referee Vincent Caboret from Burkina Faso will be in charge of officiating this match. Of course, he'll be assisted by his linesman, as well as video assistant referees Yassir Ahmed Abdelaziz. Angola's starting lineup also opting for a 4-3-3 formation. Goalkeeper Gelson Dalla, Marcos Raimundo, Lorenzo Jaden Puna, and Galinia as the 4. Jairo Mana, Luau, and Menelso. As the midfielders, Omar Oliveira, Denzel, and Eliseu. Up the front 3. Denzel Ayoun has 3 goals to his name as well. Of course, the winner of this match, regardless, it's their last and final appearance in the Total Energies Africa Cup of Nations Under-17 World Cup. They will not continue on. This is just for qualification to the World Cup, which will be taking place in November in Qatar. A lot to play for, nonetheless. How important would it be to feature in Qatar? The attention that the Under-17 World Cup gets, unparalleled. And we're off. It's Egypt who start from right to left in their red kits, Angola in their white, going from left to right. We're seeing a lot of energy in the press from Angola wearing their white kits. And it's Egypt the first to play it forward. Scooped up and cleaned up by Luwawu, the captain. Egypt comfortable in possession. Of course, it's a side that are used to, at the senior level, doing so well in these international competitions, but in the youth level, it's their first appearance since 2011, and even then, wasn't exactly a successful outing. They were eliminated in the group stages. That's when the tournament was hosted in Gabon. They don't have the best record in the once they get to the final stages either. It's a good cross in. Fortunately, there wasn't too many players and too much of a strong presence of Egypt because Jason Dada made a little bit of a mess of that. And it's Egypt who continue to press. It's the fullback Adam Farid, perhaps the youngest of the 16-year-olds on the side, born on December 31st, getting the encouragement of his manager. Hamza. Ahmed Al-Kas, the former Egyptian national team player who is managing the Under-17, played for the senior side of the Pharaohs between 1987 and 1997. 10-year career, scored 25 goals, the national team colors. And actually, it was during his tenure, more towards the end, that he scored 2 goals against Angola in the Africa Cup of Nations in 1996. If he could rub off that luck to his players, or if they could get a little bit of that fortune, he would take it. Well spread out by Hamza Adegni. Farid, perhaps the most stirring of the players in the opening 3 minutes. Great challenge from Egypt, and now they find themselves in the box. It's a deflected effort. Doesn't find the back of the net, but they're asking questions, the Pharaohs. Abdelaziz Al-Zogbi's effort blocked by foot of an Angolan player. The corner's taken short. Important challenge from the number 14 of Angola there. Jairo Mwana has 2 goals to his name in this tournament. Can he add another? At this time, seems like he's more implored to be present on his defensive duties. Angola a little bit on the back foot in these opening minutes. Egypt imposing their style and their brand of football. Not the most convincing clearance, and Egypt can perhaps manage to scavenge a little bit of an attack, even though that corner wasn't the best taken one. They find themselves in the box. He's completely surrounded, and that's Rashdi. And Adam, the fullback, go back to his position as a right back. Angola now, can they finally break out from the pressure and create something on their own? Thwarted the attack by Noor Ashraf. Center back who plays his club football for ENPPI. NP. He's not alone. Him, as well as 4 others on the side tonight. In the starting 11, there's Adam Al-Sayed, Mohamed Ibrahim, and Exogbi. Finally, Anas Imam. All 4 of those players as well play their club football for ENPPI. Cleared far by Omar Abdelaziz. He plays his club football for Zamalek, however. There'll be another corner won by the Pharaohs. Doesn't take much for them to get into the back of into the dangerous areas. 1 clearance, 1 long pass, and just like that, through the speed of their wingers, they're able to cause trouble in the back line of Angola. So far, they've dealt with the dangerous situations more or less well enough to not force Gelson Dalla to make any saves, but this time he's called to action. And he can count himself lucky because that punch wasn't the most convincing either. Again, fell to the feet of Mohamed Bandari, who apologizes to his teammates. Perhaps should have done better. Let's see again, yeah, never really. And the way that he approached the ball, it seemed like he had speed, but didn't get the precision to direct it on target. It's a shame, but perhaps it's through the set pieces that Egypt will find their success. It's also important to note that Egypt is a side that is very clean, doesn't concede any yellow cards, very few. And in their matchday 3 victory over Cameroon, it's Cameroon who went down to 10 men. Still, were able to take the lead, but Egypt didn't give up, and there was a penalty scored by Hamza Abdel Karim to start the revolt, so to speak, and the turnaround was completed after Azogbi scored from a set piece. So we do know that Egypt can convert from set pieces. This time their center back is under pressure again, but he escapes 1 and 2, skips away, delivers quite a good ball. Egypt pounce on the second one. They retain possession. Until it's given away to Jaden Puna. And without too many options to play forward, plays it to his goalkeeper. Cleared away. Angola not settling into this match perhaps the way that they would have liked. Of course, the scoreline still 0-0, and there hasn't been exactly an excessive amount of danger in their own area, but their forwards just haven't been able to express themselves. Very little link-up play as well. Maybe the nerves of the prospect of qualifying for the Under-17 World Cup in Qatar later this year. It could mean so much for these young players. Maybe not all of them will receive the bright lights of stardom and have the most thriving professional careers, but appearing in the Under-17 World Cup will be a memory that surely won't forget. It's good from Angola. Finally, a little bit of presence in the box. The pace is on display. Trickery as well from the number 18. He's going to go for goal this time. And the Palaquinas showcasing why they were one of the better teams in the group stages. They only were defeated once by Mali, and it was a very close game on match day 1. Mali, who, if you followed yesterday, defeated Tunisia in what was a very tense quarterfinal. If not, Angola were undefeated in their next 2 games. Drew 0-0 against Côte d'Ivoire, who, may I mention, are also qualified for the semi-final. They defeated title holders, reigning champions Senegal, also on penalties yesterday to book their spot for the semi-finals. They'll take on Morocco. So Angola, yeah, perhaps unluckier of the sides, given that they only did lose once to not feature, at least in the knockout phases, but that's the way it goes. They were drawn into a difficult group. That was Group D. Egypt in Group B, however, they also fought valiantly, just had defensive issues that brought them down. On match day 1, they lost 4-3 to South Africa. Match day 2, they conceded 2 goals to Burkina Faso, can only score 1. That was Bilal Etaya who scored that match. Finds himself on the bench tonight. And then, yes, as I said earlier on, match day 3, they saved their campaign, booked their ticket to this match by defeating Cameroon 2-1. 7 goals scored and 6 goals conceded in 3 matches is spectacular. If we can, for the neutrals watching tonight, if we can hope to see a 4-3 or 3-2, we take it. Even a draw. But if there were to be goals, they'd be very welcome. Deep cross. It's in search of the right winger. And Angola in trouble here, making a mess out of this situation. And the Egyptian players ran into each other. So unfortunate. There may be an offsides position here. Video assistant referee could intervene, of course, but not necessary. Referee Vincent Caboret was on the case. And just before that, just seemed like 2 Egyptian players got in the way of each other. Hamza Abdel Karim, maybe Anas Rushdie, collided. And a warning sign for Angola. They lack a little bit of height in their back line, dealing with those high crosses. Luau gets onto his left foot. He's fouled and brought down at the edge of the area. And this will bring a very good opportunity for the Palaquinhas. Luau disappointed that there wasn't a card given because he seemed like he was arming a shot on his left foot. Did so well to get away from his man. And then, yeah, just brought down. As I said earlier, Egypt usually have such good discipline, well, the under-17 side do at least. Forced to make the foul, because if not, Luau had a clear side of goal. You can see that he was gesturing for a yellow card to be brandished, but Vincent Caboret decided otherwise. Omar Abdelaziz deciding how he'd like for his wall to be placed. The focus. Number 18, Eliseu Francesco. Will be him to take it. Denzel Lioun. Eliseu Francesco fakes it. It was number 11. Omar Oliveira, who took it instead. Ford, who plays his club football for Club Angola, yet to score in this tournament, and just seemed the way he approached the ball didn't look convinced. It's a pity. Perhaps his body language was perhaps thought about lifting it over the wall a little bit too much than actually getting it to go up and over and down. Excuse me. And Egypt have been warned. Angola have the technique and the speed, especially around the box, to cause damage. They have to be vigilant. And can Angola start again? That was an ambitious and audacious pass by Lioun. If it would have worked out, down the neck of the defense, but cleared away by Egypt. And now perhaps even create something from their own defense if goalkeeper Abdelaziz plays it short. It doesn't seem like he will. Taking a few touches to gain some yardage. Played very far. And Egypt do well to win the midfield battle. And just like that, they're in the back of the defense. It's kept, it's attempted to be kept in bounds by Anas Roshdi, but he's been doing a lot of those overlapping runs behind the back of his defender, Marcos Raimundo. This time called to defend was Galinia. Not the highest intensity match of football yet. There's been quite a few stoppages and the ball has gone out of bounds. Not always through fouls, but just a few imprecisions. It's tense. And the goalkeepers on either side have yet to make a big save on their own line. Of course, Jason Dala, of Angola. Just 15 years old. Was put under some pressure via corners, but if not, it's been mostly choppy this evening match played in El Jadida, Morocco. Of course, this is for the final spot of the 10, the record 10 spots that the Africa Cup of Nations, that the African Federation teams can take. Of course, all the teams that qualified for the quarterfinals will feature. Oh, it's a good ball in. This must finish in the back of the net. No! Miraculous defending from Galinia. Doing so well, the number 5 for Angola. Saves the skins of the Palaquinhas. He leaped high, and he needed to. Really, really well done. It was a teasing cross played in by Egypt, and when they do find themselves in the box, they somehow manage to get so many red shirts at the availability of the ball holder, of the ball carrier, excuse me. It's quite interesting because it allows for a player in the box to have options to pass or even go for a goal, but at times it's even a little bit too much when we remember that moment that two Egyptians ran into each other. Galinia fighting for superiority there. He wins. Oh, just his throw-in perhaps had a little bit too much power on it. Luau showcased his tackling ability there to cut out the potential counterattack. And Egypt will reset through their goalkeeper, who scuffs his clearance. Can they capitalize? No, it's a really good recovery from number 8 of Egypt, Mohamed Ahmad, the captain of the night. Luau again. You can just feel the authority of Luau, not only because he's wearing the captain's armband, but just his technical ability, his defensive efforts. Just seems like quite a well-rounded player. Got his goal in the tournament. Against Angola from the penalty spot. That was at the 13th minute. And Daniel Lioun have his hat trick. Finally, Wana would have his double. There are goals in this Angolan side. And it did come from a free kick against Mali. Can they replicate the greatness? It's going to be a shot from effort, from distance. That was speculative. If that would have gone in, it would have been the goal of the tournament. Maybe it was something that they had worked out in the practice ground and believed was worth trying tonight, but didn't pan off on that occasion, that's for sure. Angolan under-17 side is nicknamed the Palaquinhas. The senior side is similar, but it's for the black sable antelopes. It's a rare subspecies of the sable antelope, native and to Angola. It's unique, known for its horns as well. This is good here from Angola because they're working through Eliseu Francisco. They just have to be a little bit more careful on how they take this throw in. Galinia searching for Leon. Caught the volley, Luau. Abdelaziz, without too much worry, catches it, but wastes no time in punting it up the field. The referee getting in the way there of play. And instead of stopping, continues on. Luau making a good tackle. That's what I was mentioning earlier. Luau just looks so well-rounded as a midfielder. Quite complete. And he makes a good defensive intervention again. Just incredibly involved in the play. This time he's out of position, however. And Anas Roshdi decided to have a crack from distance. A little bit of intensity after a long clearance from Omar Abdelaziz. It goes quickly, and Luau had to make 2 defensive plays, but none of them were enough to really cut out the attack. Excessive show of intensity by Mohamedan Bandari. Pushing for Vincent Gaboret to blow his whistle there. Maybe Angola can create from higher up on the pitch. He's been a little bit imprecise tonight, Denzel Leon. You'd expect a little bit better from the 3-time goal scorer. Plays his club football in Portugal. Clube Real Massama. Luau put under pressure, but pokes it wide to his fullback, Marcos Raimundo. The Egyptian block really well positioned, and Leon this time does make a connection with the teammate. Angola was trying to exploit the space and failed to do so. It's returned to the Pharaohs. Abdel Karim gets the best of his defender and wins a free kick. Well done by Hamza and Abdel Karim, also a 2-time goal scorer in this tournament. Tied on goals with his teammate Roshdi. He's won a free kick in a good area because now it could be an in-swinging cross. It's played short, actually. It's going to be an effort from distance. Just bounced out wide. Seemed like it had a little bit more power than the earlier attempt by Angola, but same result, out of bounds and without troubling the goalkeeper at all. Abdel Karim is going to look for Roshdi on the outswing, on the overlap. This duel between Roshdi and Jalinia is so good. Great tackle. by Galinia. He's been excellent so far. Of course, made a couple of offensive mistakes like that on that throw-in, but Galinia, aggressive. Now he wins the free kick. This is really one to watch, the duel between Galinia and Rushdie. Perhaps the most entertaining of the battles so far in this first half. I'd also like to signal out that Luau has been quite impressive. And of course, Hamza Abdel Karim hasn't gone into a goal-scoring position, but the way he tries to put his teammates in favorable positions has also been something to note. Of course, football is more than about individual performances, and both teams seem to be quite evenly matched nonetheless so far. Similar formations, similar approach to how they go forward as well. Perhaps Egypt prioritizing the long balls slightly more than Angola. Both are trying to make the differences on the wings. This time it's an underlapping run. And out to put the fire is Lorenzo. Jaden Puna, excuse me. Long throw in coming from the number 5. It's headed up. It's continued on by Abdel Karim. It's going to switch from the left to the right. Alam Farid. Play lives on. Well flicked on. And the first save of the match for Dalla. Very unacademic save, but it does the trick. Egypt can continue on with the pressure through the throw-in, and Vincent Caboret will brandish the first yellow card of the match. That'll be for the captain, Mohamed Ahmad. He's booked. Abdel Karim, yeah, it's been impressive, his layoff play through the head, and also when he chests the ball down or plays it forward, even the layoffs. Some similarities to the younger version of Olivier Giroud and Hamza Abdel Karim. Was clearly played a clear role on that first opportunity created for the Pharaohs. Launched upwards by Egypt, not wasting any time in sending the ball into the opposition half. Oh, lovely bit of skill, and now number 8 for Angola, Manelson. Wins a corner for his side. Can we just see that dummy again? Might have been Omar Oliveira who let the ball go through his legs. Tricked everyone. Angola playing it short. And this time, funnily enough, the duel between Anas Rushdie and Galinia takes place on the other half of the pitch. Cross dealt with a little bit more or less by the Pharaohs. Angola win a throw-in. As deep as you can be in the opposition half. Waiting for Galinia to return to his position shortly to take the throw-in. The specialist going from the left wing to the right. He's been everywhere, Galinia. Will he send it into the box? Does he have that power from his arms? More or less. Luau serving Galinia again, and he does well in winning a free kick for his side. It's the already booked Mohamed Ahmad who makes the foul too. Has to be careful, Mohamed Ahmad. On the yellow card, with much of the match left to be played. 60 minutes or so at least. Angola winning more and more set pieces in the last few minutes. It's on target. Simple in the end for Omer Abdelaziz. Displayed a lot of maturity in the way he handled that. Didn't panic. Wasn't under too much pressure either, because it was a floating ball, and it seemed like the Angolan players started from quite a bit away from where it ended. Maybe not the best taken set piece. They've been a bit wasteful, if I may say so myself, Angola, and how they have taken their corners and free kicks. Could have done a lot better. Especially they won, think about the one that was taken by Omar Oliveira. It was from at 20 yards or so and couldn't even find the target. Especially because they've been provoking fouls against what has usually been a very good and disciplined Egyptian team this tournament. It is a testament to the tenacity of this Angolan side. Egypt struggling to establish their brand of football in the last 10 minutes as we approach the final quarter of an hour before the referee will shortly blow his whistle. There hasn't been too much in terms of offensive gameplay. Abdel Karim does well there to attract two players and serve Roshdi. Roshdi's cross, not met by any teammates. Of course, it was blocked, but that's what I was saying about Hamza Abdel Karim. Reminds me of Olivier Giroud in the way that he can take on one or two center backs, attract the attention, and then with a clever layoff, precise and clever layoff, can find a teammate in space. Throw in to be taken now by Adam Farid. Finds Zogby. Zogby back to the goal. Isn't able to hold on to it. Fortunately for him, his teammates bail him out because they've now found themselves back into the box. The Pharaohs, shot on target. Acrobatic after test. Wow. What a way to light up the match, Hamza Abdel Karim. Doesn't find the target, but would have been a very memorable goal if he would have put that one away. With his left. The timing was perfect. Very interesting and very promising player he is, Abdel Karim, the 17-year-old who plays his club football for Al Ahly, their academy in Cairo. The chance went upwards though, and Angola had space on the left wing, but from the moment they wanted to play it down the middle, it's well blocked by Egypt. It seems like the timing was all wrong with that back heel play by Oliveira, forcing for Raimundo to foul his opponent. But I still can't stop thinking about that acrobatic effort by Abdel Karim. It's wonderful, the attempt. Beautiful to see, but just unlucky that the ball didn't find, or at least test the goalkeeper. Roshdi wins a free kick in his duel against Manuelson. And approaching to take the free kick is Mohamed Bandari. He perhaps had a very good chance of scoring early on in this half. Can he redeem himself with a good cross? It is a good cross. Swiped out of the air by Jason Dalla. Omer Oliveira does well to keep it in play. And the very discreet Daniel Lioun slows it down, but finds his captain, Luau. Makes no mistake in playing it back to his center back. Great turn by the Angolan players there. They've now moved forward. It's Eliseu Francisco in the box. Gets away from one, skips two, lays it off. The shot doesn't find the back of the net, doesn't even find the target. Was it blocked? It was Jairo Mwala at the end product there. Oh, it's blocked by his own player, Denzel Lioun. Denzel Lioun has really been involved in a lot of the play so far, but not always putting his best foot forward. Was unlucky to be placed there, but perhaps a symbol of his first half. That was really good dribbling, however, from Manuelson. He turned one player, skipped past another, broke out with pace, served Eliseu Francisco. That was good quality. And Angola still haven't perhaps put a good effort on target to threaten Omar Abdelaziz or even really get close to opening the scoring, but the gameplay is getting better. It's Manuelson Luau on his left foot, fakes a shot, disguised it and tried to perhaps find Jairo Mwala just at the edge of the box. Rare mistake by Luau. Can it be capitalized by the Pharaohs? Abdel Karim going in with a little bit too much intensity. Fouls the captain of the Palaquinhas. If you are just joining us, this is the playoff match for the final spot of the Under-17 World Cup 2025 to be played in Qatar. That'll be in November, between the 3rd and the 27th. 9 teams that participated have already qualified. It's a shame because the end product from that cross by Marcos Raimundo wasn't there. Angola did well to find spaces, and you can see on the body language of Omar Abdelaziz, he's not impressed by how his defenders are showing out the last few minutes. He hasn't had to make any saves, but Angola are just missing that final pass, that final shot. If not, everything else is working in their favor. Very long clearance. Not exactly in search of a teammate. More to just clear the lines. Egypt play a ball that's a little bit more precise and intentional. However, it goes back to the defenders. Roshdi gets ahead to it. A little bit of skill that the fans enjoyed there from Bandari, putting the ball between his opponent's legs. Farid plays it back. Oh, there's just, the cross is high, and Zogby still manages to keep possession, and he pokes it into the back of the net. It was chaotic, but El Zogby gets an all-important goal in what's been a very tight affair. And look what it means to the Pharaohs. The bench is cleared, all the substitutions have charged onto the pitch, and then Zogby opens the scoring just when I thought that cross seemed to be lacking a little bit of direction. It actually unsettled the Angolan defense. As Zogby never stopped believing, kept his eye on the ball all the way through, even read the deflection well, and with the outside of his right foot, sent it towards goal, deflected by the unfortunate Lorenzo. Yeah, his first initial touch was blocked, and then the second blocked by Lorenzo, well, deflected by Lorenzo, and leaving goalkeeper Justin Dalla with no chance. Egypt are up 1-0 And Abdelaziz El Zogbi gets his second goal of the tournament. Egypt now have 3 players on 2 goals. It's their only goal scorers on the pitch. Of course, their 4th goal scorer, Belal Atia, is on the bench. Wow, just when Angola were really knocking on the door, seemed to be creating some offensive play, lacking real end product, they're punished. It's the poetry of football at times. If you don't put your chances away, you leave that window open. And Egypt seemed like they smelled the chance to score, and they took it. With just 5 minutes left at the halftime, that goal will surely influence the team talk. Coach Ahmed Al-Khas of Egypt can be pleased with how his team were able to resist the waves of offense of Angola. And it really was a team effort to get the ball into the right wing, and really did believe that that cross was not going to provide any significant danger, but in the end, so we saw earlier on in the match, the Angolan center backs struggling to deal with the aerial balls. And they're made to pay. Perhaps they can do again. Jayden Puna coming in as like a firefighter. Careered into the ball and stopped Rushdie. He found himself in the box off another long ball. Coach Ahmed El-Khas of Egypt surely giving the directions to play those long balls, because they are working. They want a corner, excuse me. It's taken short. Bandari trying to force it back into the danger zone. Zogbi still not giving up. One of his strengths, clearly. Lays it off, but he read it from the beginning, Marcos Raimundo. This is the same similar situation where the delivery came in for the goal. Can they get a second? The referee blows the whistle, but Rushdie was lurking at the back post. The ball bounced all the way through. Justin Dalla lost his shoe in the process of getting fouled. Rushdie showing his physical attributes there, putting 2 players to ground. Of course, not legally, but does have that physical strength and also that stamina as he's repeated those sprints behind the back of his defender all throughout the first half, while also playing a meaningful contribution on the defensive end. And that's Rushdie. Also fellow ENPPI player. And as things stand, it'll be Egypt to qualify for the under-17 World Cup, excuse me. It'll be their return if they're to qualify, their first since 1997, which is the year I believe they hosted the tournament. My memory doesn't fail me. Brazil were the victors. Since then, Egypt have not featured in the Under-17 World Cup, and a win tonight would stamp their ticket. And allow for them to participate alongside the 9 other African nations qualified. Of course, if you missed it earlier on at this very same pitch, earlier tonight, Uganda got their historical qualification by defeating the Gambia. The scoreline of 2-1. Now it's 1-0 for the Pharaohs of Egypt. After 44 minutes of play and 40 seconds. Jaden Pugna, he's brought down. Get a little bit too much momentum. Abdelaziz Zogby in his defensive duties. The goal scorer of the night. How much added time will be shown by the fourth official. Just 1 minute, apparently. Not too many stoppages in this match. So it seems quite logical. There will only be 1 minute. Surely much to the pleasure of the Egyptian supporters and the Egyptian players, to the chagrin of the Angolans. Not kept in play by Egypt. And can the Palanquinas muster up one last chance before the end of the first half? They'll have to hurry up. Doesn't seem like they're gonna take that risk. And referee Vincent Caboret, looking at his watch, looks again. He's about to blow the whistle for the end of the first half, and he does so. It's 1-0 for the Pharaohs of Egypt. The goal coming through the right foot of El Zogby, the winger. Just when Angola were starting to build a little bit of momentum, but they lacked all the quality in the final touches. They were punished by a very clinical Egyptian side, exploiting their superiority perhaps in the physical domain in the aerial duels. Aside from that, it was a quite evenly matched affair between these two sides. You could feel the tension and the nervousness, knowing that a qualification for the Under-17 World Cup is at the end of this match. But there is all to play for. Angola showed sparks of brilliance, just not converting when they had chances. Egypt too, however, they could widen the scoreline. We'll see the duels that will take place in the second half between the Pharaohs and the Palanquinas. It's 1-0 here at the Al Jadida Stadium in Morocco of the second playoff and final playoff of the Under-17 Total Energies Africa Cup of Nations. We'll be back after a short halftime break. Don't miss it, because at the end of this second half of 45 minutes, there will be the 10th and final qualified side for the Under-17 World Cup. And thank you for joining us for this second half between the Pharaohs of Egypt and the Palanquinas of Angola. Palanquinas, which translates to Black Sable Antelopes. For this under-17 clash, the final half of football to be played of all the World Cup playoff matches. Of course, regardless of the outcome of tonight's match, here played at the El Jadida in El Jadida, Morocco, at the Ben Mohamed Al Abdi Stadium. It'll be the last of the under-17 African Cup of Nations match for either side. They will be bowing out of the tournament, but only one will stamp their ticket for the Qatar under-17 World Cup taking place in November later on this year. Switch of the sides. Egypt will now be attacking from left to right. They open the scoring through Abdelaziz El Zogbi in the 39th minute. Angola will be now going from right to left. Referee Vincent Caboret didn't have much to do in the first half. Blows the whistle for the second half to start, and it's Angola who kick things off. Going straight forward towards the goal. It's cleared away by the goalkeeper, Abdelaziz. Didn't have much to do. The Zamalek goalkeeper. Caboret blows the whistle. It'll be Angola to have the first set piece of the match, facing the left side of the pitch. It's laid off cleverly. It's well worked, perhaps from the training ground. It's a teasing cross. Unfortunately, the left back Marcos Raimundo's seems like he put in a lot of good work into that cross. You can see the technique was very academic. Jaden Puna carrying the ball forward. Under a little bit of pressure here, Jaden Puna. In search of the forward, Eliseo Francisco. But Egypt deal well with that chance that was trying to be created, and what's ensuing is a midfield battle. Who can emerge with possession? It seems like it's Angola. Possession stats of the first half were slightly in favor for Egypt, 52% to 48. Egypt also had 4 corners to 1 for Angola. They shot more times, 10 shots to 5. Of course, only 2 of them were on target, one of them being the goal. Abdelaziz El Zogbi getting his second of the tournament, and joining Hamza Abdel Karim and Anas Roshdi. All 3 players now have 2 goals scored in this tournament. It's cross in search of Denzel Lioun. He's beaten to it by the defense Here's the goal scorer now. Zogby. Wins the throw in for his side. Precious moment. Under the watchful eye of manager of Angola, Domingos Cristóvão da Silva. Both of these sides, of course, like all the teams that participated in this under-17 Africa Cup Total Energies Africa Cup of Nations, had to go through qualifications. Of course, this is the first time that the tournament has been enlarged to 16 participating teams. So the quality of football on display has been good. So a successful choice to enlarge the tournament. Angola secured its qualification by reaching the final of the COSAFA qualifiers. COSAFA being the South African regional qualification group. That was held in South Africa in December 2024. They had an impressive run, but they lost to Zambia 2-1 in the final. But along with South Africa and Zambia, they managed to qualify for this tournament. Also, if you're just joining us, these two sides that are meeting each other both finished in third in their group stage. Group B, Egypt finished in third. The teams that finished in first and second were Morocco, the hosts of this tournament, and Zambia. No, excuse me, that was Group A. Burkina Faso and South Africa, excuse me. Egypt finished in third, fourth were Cameroon. In Group D, Angola finished third behind Mali and Ivory Coast. But with 4 points, only lost one match. Drew once and won another. So perhaps we're unlucky because they finished with 4 points, which may have been enough to qualify if they were in Group B, for instance. Corner won by the Pharaohs of Egypt, this time through the tireless efforts of Adam Farid. Seems like a lot of the corners that were taking place, it's the 5th one for the Pharaohs of Egypt. But a lot of the corners that were taken were played to the near post. Will they repeat? Yes, they do. A lovely bit of trickery, but the execution was lacking by Mohamed Hamad, the captain of the night. Picked up a yellow card early on in this match. 27th minute. Angola starting to keep more of the ball. It's a long ball played in by the captain, Luau. He showed good vision and awareness throughout the first half. Luau, also good layoff there. Seu Francisco to the fullback. Gelinha. Angola starting to settle in the opposition half. Can they do something with it? However, we saw a lot of this in the first half, but no end product. Finally, it's a good pass in, but the cross lacked quality. Frustration from Luau, the captain, who picked out a perfect through ball for the incoming Marcos Raimundo. His run was good, but unlike the earlier cross in the second half, this one lacked direction and precision. You can see how Egypt qualified. It was a little bit more glorious. They won the North African qualifiers, which were played in Morocco last year. They defeated they were the best of Algeria, Egypt, Libya, and Tunisia, as well as Morocco. They were crowned champions of the North African region, and they secured their ticket to the Under-17 AFCON. Punya. It's a low clearance, but Abdel Karim gets to it. Continues on, Abdel Karim. This time his touch takes him too far. Luau was waiting. Anticipated for the touch to perhaps be a little too far. Did a world of good for his side because Abdel Karim going forward is a force. And now foul blown by the referee Vincent Caboret. It's Manuelson who wins it. And Abdel Karim, speaking of the qualifiers, he won the Golden Boot. He really is one of the players at the highest level, the highest order, if I may say so myself. And Mohamed Hamad is going to be making room for Bilal Attia. Bilal Attia, perhaps I was a little bit surprised myself when I saw he was starting on the bench and wore the captain's armband in that 2-1 defeat to Burkina Faso and even scored. Making his 4th appearance and picking up the captain's armband as he introduces himself to this playoff match. Still has 40 minutes or so, or 30 minutes or so to make an impact. And here he touches his first ball of the night. Bilal Attia, the Al Ali Academy player. Angola do well to get that ball out to the left. It's played very wide, and he's going to take on his man, Oliveira. Liwoon attempted the spectacular. If you saw what I saw, it seemed like he was trying to use his heel to play it forward in his path, but it seems like he caught the head of an Egyptian defender and got it all wrong. The coach of Egypt, Ahmed El-Khaz, he was able to lead the Pharaohs through that qualification in the North African qualifiers and came through very strong defense. Discipline of defense that we didn't really see so much in the group stages. Egypt conceded 6 goals in their 3 matches. Of course, 4 of them came in match day 1 against South Africa. They conceded in every match of the group stages, and if they're able to keep a clean sheet tonight, well, that would just ensure that they will be featuring in the Under-17 World Cup later this year. Of course, the senior level, the AFCON Cup of Nations will be taking place from December 21st, 2025 to January 18th, 2026 in Morocco. They will be hosting that edition of the tournament. And Egypt and Angola at the senior level were drawn into the same group. Good volley from Bilal Attia, looking to make a very near instant impact. You could see his body language was perfect on that. And the whip of the ball was dangerous. If he was in a more central position, would have been a perfect volley. But it whips wide. Oh, it's a great touch from the midfielder, Jairo Mwana. Luau not really reading the run of Denzel Lioun. Denzel Lioun hasn't made an impact in the same way that the forwards of Egypt have this game. It's disappointing from a player who has scored 3 times this tournament. And he had to make the foul there. Eliseu Francisco Farid just, well, Shami, excuse me, anticipated that perfectly. He's gonna have to stretch to get it. He does. Ashami, Abdel Karim, disturbing the goalkeeper, but Jassandala stayed focused until the end. Separated himself from two Egyptian players. Did well to win and prevent Abdel Karim from winning a header. Senior team of Angola is coached by Pedro Gonçalves. It's a former manager of the under-17. He was replaced by the current manager, Domingos Cristóbal da Silva. Helped qualify Angola for this event. Since he's taken over as coach, he's tried to emphasize for his side to come up with structured attacks, which we were able to see a lot in the first half. Starting to see a little bit more in the second half as well, but what really was lacking is the end product. And I don't mean to point fingers, but forward Denzel Lioune hasn't been involved in the gameplay enough. It seems that's what's missing, especially if your side has not scored any goals under the watchful eyes of CAF executives. We saw Erita Ilunga earlier on. We're able to see Mark Fish, Miller Gomez, and Kamel Kolsi in the stands. Earlier on in this evening, Uganda getting their qualification. Will it be the Pharaohs of Egypt to join them? Or will Angola have a say? They still have time. A lot of time, actually. And there may be substitutions to be made by the manager. Well worked from Angola on this right wing. Seeing Denzel Lioune stepping up to offer a short ball option, but Blanquinhas deciding to play it back. Will we see a ball played into the surface? Not sure. Gets rid of one. Oliveira with his right foot. You could see that he was aiming for the top right corner. Opting to go for precision over power. But lacked both in the end with that effort. Not at all threatening on Abdelaziz. Pressed until the very end by the goal scorer Abdelaziz Abdogbi. On April 15th, there will be the other semifinals. And we'll find out who will play and meet each other in the final of this tournament. Started off on March 31st with March 30th with 16 sides. Morocco opened the match, opened the tournament, the hosts, defeating Uganda 5-0. That was at the El Bashir Stadium in Mohammedia. And now there are just 4 teams left. In Morocco, we'll take on Côte d'Ivoire at that very same stadium in Mohammedia. Burkina Faso will take on Mali. And it's time for a substitution, but this time it's Mali. Angola, excuse me. Edilacio coming on, the 15-year-old, making his third appearance of the tournament. Edilacio plays his club football for Petroleos Luanda. And that'll be the end of the night for Denzel Lioun. Very forgettable night out for Lioun. It just seemed like it was his time to go because it didn't seem like he was contributing offensively, and maybe, just maybe, Edilacio Domingos can change the tides. Angola playing out from the back. Escaped the pressure put by the Pharaohs, only temporarily, because now centre-back Lorenzo has to find Luau. Precise ball to Eliseu, who shifted to the left. Excellent technique from Manuelson, but lacked a bit of, and it's a bit of the, if we can recap how Angola's night has gone, that was a perfect example. Excellent technique, good movement until they get to the box. That's where they have suffered. Perhaps it's also credit to Egypt and their defensive stability as well, but it just seems like Angola haven't applied themselves and at least forcing Omar Abdelaziz to get to work, the goalkeeper for Egypt. We saw there a nice back heel from Luau, the captain. The other captain, Atia, fouling Eliseu. "25 minutes left in this match. The final half of this playoff match. So much at stake because an appearance in the Under-17 World Cup means that there will be a lot of attention from clubs, scouts, from all around the world. It could change a young player's career. And they all know this. Nerves will begin to play in. This playoff match has a different feel than a group stage one. There is tension. Acrobatic effort to send the ball in for a teammate. It's read and cleared. It seems like Bilal Atia, now finding himself on the left, shows a little bit too much engagement in his defensive efforts. And it's cruel for Angola. Just when they seem like they had found a little pocket of space to send in a cross, their player lost his footing. Finally, Egypt clear, but for how long? For Angola to work their way back into the final third. Eliseu to Jelinia. He gets away from one, but good coverage. By Omar Ali. He's been discreet, Omar Kamal, but when called upon, has done his defensive duties, accomplishing them well. Long ball, which finds nobody. It's picked up by Mohamed Al-Shari. Egypt now deciding to play it short until they opt for their most effective style of offense, the long ball. Cause a little bit of commotion there. And the infatigable Jelinia charges forward and tries to send the ball, but fails in doing so. Abdelkarim gets away from one with his pace and then sends the ball into the back of the net with the help of the post. Wonderful from Hamza Abdelkarim. Incredible pace and then precision. Wow. And just as I had mentioned throughout this match, this player who has all the characteristics of a young Olivier Giroud forces his way through the defense and unapologetically then sends the ball into the back of the net by kissing the post. Yeah, no way to blow foul for that. His pace on display. Takes time to look and see where the goal is, and the Al Ahly forward gets his third goal of the tournament. And what fashion. Just when the best defender for Angola, Jelinia, had gone up and lost possession a bit recklessly. An outstanding offensive effort by Abdelkarim. Putting his side up 2-0 at the 69th minute. And now Angola have an incredibly tall order if they wish to come back in this match. Of course, Hamza Abdelkarim hit the post and for the ball to go in, but have to question as well Gelson Dalla's positioning. Seemed like he left him a large window and space to shoot. Gelson Dalla now getting involved, give a give and go in his own area. It's a bit sloppy. And Egypt trying to capitalize with a speculative effort. Well, an audacious one. If it would have gone in, that would have been the goal of the tournament. Gelson Dalla trying to play too quickly. And what is on his mind, the manager for Angola, Domingos Cristobal da Silva. Angola may be heading for their second loss of the tournament. And will come up empty-handed. Their first participation in the Under-17 Africa Cup of Nations since 2019. In that edition, they did finish third, however. If my memory is correct, that was in Algeria. In that edition, their forward at the time, Capita, finished as top goal scorer. Angola also won the Fair Play Award. Nonetheless, they've removed their forward, Denzel Lioun. He's made way for Edilasio, who's on the ball. Edilasio on the right wing has to make an impact for his team. They desperately need an offensive spark. The midfielders, technically speaking, have done so much work to put the offensive players in good positions, but they've been let down. Think of Luau, Jairo Moana, and Manuelson, who showed that they are more than able of eliminating one or two players, but then they're just not assisted enough by the front three, while the front three of Egypt have been clinical. Oh, Abdelkarim, another good pass into the distance, and look how many players are in the box for Egypt. It's a shame that Anas Roshdi isn't able to adjust his cross with precision. He's been much more quiet, Anas Roshdi, the second half than he was in the first, but Abdelkarim, an outstanding volleyed pass. Such quality from Abdelkarim. Surely one of the star players of the Pharaohs' future, perhaps even for Al Ahly, his club. Luvembo's coming on, the number 9. Domingos Cristobal da Silva, the manager, making another switch, introducing a forward. Paulo Luvumbo taking off Manuelson. So it's not yet we throw everything, including the kitchen sink time, but by removing a midfielder and adding a forward, expressing clear intent on trying to come back in a match at risk of exposing your midfield and defense. With 15 minutes, more or less, well, a little bit over 15 minutes left to be played in this match, no choice. He wins the duel there in the air, but not exactly productive for his team's efforts in grabbing a goal. Paulo Luvumbo seems focused on the task at hand. The task is a big one. It's to come back. He's going to have to rush to prevent that ball from going out for a corner. Does well there, Justin Dalla. Jaden Puna escapes one pressure. And Luau seems like he's going to almost never get dispossessed, but was rendered imbalanced. Luau is an outstanding player as well. The quality he puts on just seems like he can never lose the ball. Except through there, the curse of the commentator showing on display, but in possession, it's very difficult to take the ball off of Luau. And was his ball loss going to cause his team to take a third goal? It wasn't. Second yellow card of the match is brandished by Vincent Caboret. Sliding challenge that was late from Bondari. The set piece taker for Egypt is now in the book. Has to be careful for the final 14 minutes of regulation time. We'll see how much added time there will be. My guess is not too many minutes. As the supporters of the Ben Ahmed El Abdi Stadium watch on as these two teams compete vigorously for the win. Luau, key defensive intervention there. And that's a good pass. It cuts through one or two lines. Angola, overlapping run. And that is the perfect image of the night Angola has had. Some encouraging play, some promise, and just when it comes to making that final pass or that final shot, falling short. There was one, yeah. If there was one play that you would have to rewatch to understand the way things have gone for them tonight, that would be it. Impressive midfield distribution, good movement, and then just not a connection for the final ball. It's been disappointing for the Palanquinas. And unless they're able to really focus on applying themselves for the final cross, the final pass, or the final shot, they are going to bow out of this competition with a 2-0 defeat, without scoring, which was quite surprising given that they went into this match having scored 7 goals. They put 6 against Central African Republic. But this time they've won the ball back. Can they do better? They have to do better. They've only got 10 minutes or so to score. Oh, they've scuffed it. It was the incoming substitute, Paulo Luvumbo. And it's as if he was listening to what I was saying. The pass this time was applied, but the shot was not. Such a shame. And Egypt realizing that they have to cover these defensive holes, but Angola have the quality in creating opportunities, just lacking so much on the finishing end. Such a shame for the Palanquinhas, and that bails out Egypt, who were on the back foot pretty heavily. Maybe starting to feel the pressure. The Pharaohs, they have to manage their lead well. As the common saying goes, the most dangerous lead in football is a 2-goal lead. Athos Souza about to come on. Taking off Jelinia, who was a bit responsible on the second goal, even though he did show some quality going forward. And it's starting to look like kitchen sink time. They've taken off their right back, and immediately Abdel Karim distributes to Rotti. Roshdi, that's the second time he's been found by Abdel Karim inside the box and hasn't been able to deliver the goods. That was a wayward finish. Luau escapes one. Angola do have numbers now inside the box. There's 3 players to search for. Misses everyone, and without a right back, who they just took off, they're gonna have some holes. And we saw it there. Athos Souza is a midfielder by trade. He'll probably be more involved in the gameplay in the middle of the pitch, wearing the number 20. So camera pans its focus on Eliseu Francisco. Foul called on Jaden Puna. Oh no, excuse me, that was Athos Souza. That was his first contribution of the match. It's a foul. For the Pharaohs, this would mean their first appearance in a World Cup under-17 tournament since 1997. It'll be a real boost for their youth setup. Also to say that they haven't had too much success in this under-17 Africa Cup of Nations tournament either. The last time that they won it was in 1997, same year that they appeared in the World Cup. They won with a 1-0 victory over Mali. Since 1997, however, the little Pharaohs, the young Pharaohs, have not been remarkable in under-17 continental football, at least in this tournament. Trickery from Angola as they go forward. Wasted by the substitute Paulo Luvumbo, but recovered by the number 9 striker. Luwu shoots for target, was looking for that first post, and Luanwu unlucky to not find the target there. He's been one of the brighter stars of this match for his team. He's involved again, Luawu. Now to shot on target finally, and there's commotion inside the box, and they get it to cross the line. Angola have cut down the lead to 1. It's the defender, Lourenço, who got the final touch, beating everyone. He was forgotten at the back post. Luawu attracted so much attention when he was dancing inside of the box with his left foot, sent a low left-footed effort towards the goal, forcing a save by Omar Abdelaziz. It would be chaotic, but Lorenzo cuts down the lead with a clean left-footed finish from inside of the 6-yard box. And finally, the presence of Angola inside of the surface pays off. They had that quality in that final shot. And just when I had said maybe minutes earlier that the Pharaohs are starting to feel the pressure of the event, of this qualification, they haven't featured in 20 years. They will now have an extra nervy 5 minutes left to be played, and Hamza Abdelkarim comes off. Introduction of number 11, Abdelrahman Al-Shami. And Youssef Badran, unless I'm mistaken. That'll be all from Anas Roshdi and the goal scorer, Hamza Abdelkarim. What scenes, it's 2-1 for Angola, and the substitutions made by Domingos Cristóvão da Silva seem to have paid off there. They at least brought a moment of joy to the supporters at the stadium of Ben Hamad El Habdi and those watching from home. But the Pharaohs now, with their substitutions, may have a say as well. Strong duel between incoming Youssef Badran, who's not going to give up. Badran. And there's just 5 minutes left to be played. 50-50 challenge. It's won by Angola. The match is completely opened up here. A little bit more chaotic. Much less of what we saw in the first half, where it was very structured. Ball played into the back of the defense. It's Luau who's going to chase it. The center back now converting into a winger, it seems. He can do it all. But got carried away. Ashraf winning a free kick for his side, and you can see from his face, not impressed by how his side are conceding these spaces. Given that Angola scored in this playoff match, they've now netted in 3 successive games at the finals for the first time since scoring all 3 of their group matches in 2017 when they featured. So another little record, but of course they wouldn't like to stop there. If they were to be eliminated, at least they can have their heads held high, because finding a goal against this Egyptian side is no small feat. And it seems like all these players are losing their footing. Unbelievable scenes. Jalsan Dalla came out to perhaps intimidate, or at least put Azogbi under pressure. It worked. Oh, a little bit of technique from Raimundo. This game is starting to get out of hand. It's end-to-end football, and there's way more spaces available. The entertainment levels are going up. We're seeing a lot of players losing their footing as well, falling to the ground without too much adversity. A bit of a shame there, because Angola have been creating. Azogbi as well can testify to that. Just completely lost his footing when he came up 1-to-1 against the goalkeeper. For those of you watching at home and listening on, if the match ends with a draw, it goes straight to penalties. There will be no added time or extra 2 periods of extra time. But for that to happen, Angola would need to pull another goal in this match, and we're not sure exactly where it's going to be, because Egypt haven't had their final say. It's carelessly given away, however, by Belal Atia, the captain. Maybe he should have thought about keeping possession a little bit longer, because Angola are determined going forward. Jayden Puna finds a substitute, Alto Souza. Souza pokes it forward. It's going to be chased by Paulo. Luvumbo. No corner. And Luvumbo, whose impact was greater than that of the starting forward, Denzel Lioun. Credit to the Domingos Cristóvão da Silva for making substitutions, which perhaps exposed his side defensively a little bit, but allowed for them to go forward with way more numbers, destabilize the Pharaohs. Here's the goal scorer for Angola, Lourenço. Lourenço was also involved in the first goal of Egypt. It was his unfortunate deflection that helped the ball end into the top corner of his own goal. Of course, by no means was it deemed an own goal. Abdelaziz El Zogbi's effort was on target, but in attempting to deflect it, in attempting to block the shot, it was more of a deflection. 45 minutes later or so, he would get 40 minutes or so later, he would get a goal of his own, this time at the correct end of the pitch. The only difference now in this match is the second goal scored by Hamza Abdelkarim, the number 9 forward for Egypt, who's no longer on the pitch. Luau searching for Eliseu Francisco. It's a perfect pass. The cross, the touch lacked perfection, however. It's well read from the fullback Ahmed Farid. Captain Bilal Atiya keeps it in play, and there'll be 4 minutes of added time. Just 4 minutes left for the Palanquinos to equalize and keep their chances alive. Through a penalty shootout. If the score stands, it'll be the Pharaohs to reach and book the last of the 10 spots available for African countries for the Under-17 World Cup in Qatar. Regardless, this is the final time you'll see these two sides play in this Total Energies Under-17 Africa Cup of Nations. And they've done such a good job tonight in lighting up the stadium. Luau, good ball, it's ambitious. It's reached by an Angolan player. The cross lacked quality because Paulo Luvumbo was unmarked. Wow, incredible determination from Jayden Punya to keep that ball, to keep the play alive, really. But in his efforts going forward, he's left space behind. And that'll be a simple foul and a definite yellow card for the substitute who's come on. El Samahi. Getting his first booking of the tournament. El Samahi. And the third for referee Vincent Caboret to hand out this match. Foul was on Omar Oliveira. See if that time lost will be added on in the end, because with that foul, at least 30 seconds of the clock were shaved, and more than that, it's given away cheaply by Angola, but well recovered by the defender Marcos Raimundo, who then with his preferred left foot looks for his winger on the opposite end of the pitch. Jayden Punya, the center back, now finding himself in the forward positions. It's a long ball played in forward. Souza is able to keep it alive. Foul given for the Palanquinos. Jairo Moana has the ball in his hand. The midfielder who scored 2 goals this tournament. Will he be able to provide the perfect delivery needed? There is height in the surface, and the substitutions made, Luvumbo and Souza do seem to be taller than the players that started the match. It is a good cross, it's driven, the goalkeeper's in the area, and he takes no risk. Omar Abdelaziz, the goalkeeper for Egypt, and palming the ball and batting it for a corner. Jassandala the goalkeeper for Angola, will he remain in the box for this final corner, or one of the final corners? This could be one of the most dramatic finishes of the tournament. So, just yet, it's taken in. Egypt have a chance of perhaps even getting a third at this point. Angola prevented from happening only temporarily. 15 seconds left on the clock. It's a clearance that's met by an Angolan player, headed forward. It's totally chaotic. And there's room for Egypt to get the third if the pass is good. It is. The captain, Bilal Atia. His effort towards target was deflected. And Vincent Caboret blows the whistle for the end of the match. The Pharaohs of Egypt have booked their spot for the Under-17 World Cup in Qatar by defeating Angola on a score of 2-1. They opened the scoring in the first half, doubled their lead in the second, and weathered the late scare offered by Angola. Two sides that were evenly matched. The differences were on small details. But it's the Pharaohs that emerge the victor and will be smiling their way to Qatar, part of the 10 sides of this Africa Cup of Nations to qualify. And it's heartbreak for Angola, who gave it their all, but they lacked quality in the final ball. The captain, Luau, for Angola, gave it everything that he could defensively and offensively, played a pivotal role in